Good afternoon. This is Carolyn Jones. I'm from Ochoa Middle School. I am the testing facilitator. Today I'm going to talk about Competency 1F. Candidates know, understand, and apply Washington State's approved English language proficiency standards. As a testing facilitator, I do not use the standards in my classroom, but in the years, probably the last 6 to 7 years, I have done professional development around these standards. I first did it partnering with my reading instructional coach while I was the math coach, and we worked on professional development around these standards. I will say, as with any professional development, when the staff is ready to benefit, we will see things happen. And currently, that happens because there is not a top-down or a walkthrough model or checklist to make sure that staff is doing professional development that they have done and then going and implementing it in their classroom. So around these standards, a couple things that pointed out to me in the document was, of course, the guiding principles. We know that those are very important things for our ELL learners, but there's two of them that really hit home for me, is potential and scaffolding. We need to understand, we need to fight for our students that they have the potential to do anything just like any other students. One of the things that one of my past VPs used to say to us a lot is the parents sent us their best child, and whoever that child is, we as an educational system needs to provide for them and give them the same opportunities as another child is receiving. I think that sometimes we see, or we make excuses, or we say they don't have the language yet, but we know they go out and they socialize, they're able to survive out on the playground, they're able to communicate. They go and play sports and they're able to communicate with their coaches and their athletes. The other one is scaffolding. That is something that we need to work on as a teacher, as a society. How and what do we do for the students that are not ready? They're not there yet. So what are the things that we need to offer for them to be able to access and then have an entry point, just like the student sitting across from them? A couple other things from that article that came to mind for me as a prior math teacher and then math coach. We need to understand that these standards are not a division. We're not dividing the content. We're not saying you're in charge of these, I'm in charge of those. But we need to rather have a conversation, and we need to realize and understand that these standards need to be taught in every single classroom across the student's day, and not have the tug of war that we have by saying, well, it's a reading standard or it's a writing standard, so the language arts teacher is going to do it. No, they still read, write, they speak. They do all of that in every single classroom. They do it in health, they do it in math, they do it in art class. It is a combined effort from everyone that we need to provide for our students. For myself personally, a lot of the things that I do is I look at the data. So when we get the data back for our tests, I will break it down and look at it by teacher, by classroom, and where do we. For Ochoa, the things that we know that we need to work on is the productive modality, which is the speaking and the writing. Those seem to be year after year one of our lower test scores. So we know we need to work on that. We have some things put into place that is supporting that with our Avid Excel strategies. with our academic language scripts, with our sentence frames, and our academic vocabulary that we work on as a whole building. Because these strategies are great for our ELO learners, but they're also great strategies. They're best practices for our level 1 readers and students of poverty. So the last thing that I want to follow up with or finish with is, along with these standards, a document that I use with my building and my teachers is the ALD, the Achievement Level Descriptors. And that's a document that we use quite a bit, or I've presented on quite a bit. And we constantly come back to it or look at it when writing lesson plans. And what it does is it breaks up the domains of what the student should be doing in each level based on the domain, and then looking at their scale score. So for a student A, we can look at what his scale score was in writing, and then we can be able to look at what level he may need, and that level may be a higher level than what his speaking is. So we're just not going to look at the level 3 or the level 2s, but we're going to break that down by domain so that it's beneficial for the students and where the student can access those things. Thank you. Have a good day.